Hello everybody and welcome to your weekly reading. I'm Nigel, St. James. Well, this is for all star signs incidentally. I meditated on the cards and asked Spirit to pull what I should pull out, and he said two, and they are these. First one is, don't you just love this, the Nine of Swords, and the, turn it around the right way, the Ace of Swords. Two signs, two cards to do with air. Air is a very unstable suit at the best of times. It is the result of the union between the suits of fire and water. And this far down the numerology, from number 1 of the Ace down to 9, the original energy of the intellect embodied in the Ace starts to dissipate, and we end up with a consciousness that is unlightened by reason, one which often can cause us great, where our passions, our instincts start to overcome the mind, and the reasoned mind, that is. The numerology of the number 9 for me is significant because 9s in numerology talk about cycles of returns, and so we have with a card like this a card of rumination, a card of playing things over and over in our mind. And in my system of mysticism, the moon governs the mystical area of divine emanation, represented by the number 9, and it deals with primarily subconscious. So we have two cards here, the 9 and the Ace. Well, what are we to make of them? And I asked that question specifically, and I was given this card, which is what I call from my deck of phone line extensions into the infinite, where I can FaceTime with eternity. And it's something which I will discuss with you in a couple of minutes, or for a couple of minutes. And it's important that you're able to concentrate and relax when I do it, and I'll show you why in just a second. This 9, the message that I'm getting here is that as many of you have things which are going over and over in your mind, past hurts from people or events that have governed you and which are holding you back in your life. I'll tell you an interesting story about myself. Many years ago, I was going out on a first date with a woman. She was quite a lot older than I was at the time. Now she's probably younger than I am, but on the first date, generally what you do is you expect to put your best foot forward to show what a witty, charming and amusing, attractive and delightful person you are. Anyway, in the course of the conversation with her, she brought up the subject of her ex-husband and what a louse he was and what terrible things he'd done, and on and on and on. And it seemed to me that this was something that was very fresh in her mind, and I asked her, well, when did you and your husband break up? When did you separate and stop having anything to do with each other? And she said, 17 years ago. I'm not kidding. 17 years ago. And there she was, 17 years later, on a first date with me, talking about things which were still playing around in her mind. Well, suffice it to say, it didn't give me a lot of confidence as to what type of a relationship I might have with her going forward, and so we sadly didn't really see each other again. I'll be chivalrous and say that she declined to see me again, but it goes to show that things in the past can actually weigh you down and have a terrible aspect, a terrible weight in your present life. I want to talk now about this card, and I'm going to put it on the table and we're going to focus closely on it. Now, while we're doing that, I want you to be able to relax and to deal with your breathing. So get into a position where you can deal with your breathing, relax while we look at the card and while you're just listening to my voice. All right, now, just have a look at this card. Well, the first thing that strikes us is the title of the card, and while you're looking at it, what I want you to do is to relax all of your muscles. Feel all of your muscles relaxing from your head down to your arms, shoulders. Keep looking at the picture. Look at the colors. Look at the figure in the middle of it. Relax your muscles through your hips, down through your legs, down from your legs to your lower legs and into your feet. Feel your toes relaxing. Look at the colors in the card and look at the figure sitting in the middle of the card here. And take note of your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Feel the rhythm of your breathing while you look at the image and ask yourself this. I wonder what that image actually represents. Does it represent a plant? Does it represent a person? Is it a statue? See the other colors in there, the red, the gold, the green, the blue, the black, and the white, and your breathing going in and out, and your relaxed muscles as you feel it. And while you're doing that, take note of how all the colors run towards the center figure, and the colors also run from the center figure. And in the foreground, there are some gray areas. Are they paving stones? What's this gray thing that the figure is sitting on? Look at this figure here, in this image, the image as a whole, and ask yourself this: does this say something to you? Will it say something to you tomorrow? Will it say something to you tonight? Why is the figure black? Why is it looking into something that is white? And while you're looking at this figure and in this card, you realize, don't you, that you're not thinking anything past or anything future. And let's talk about that. You see, the message that is being given to you with this card is, and if you look at it and say, it's okay, it's got a title of saboteur. Now, who in this card is sabotaging anybody? Is the figure in this card doing anything to anybody else? Has it picked up a stick and hit anybody? Has it run into someone? Has it caused an injury? Is it fighting with anybody? Has it caused harm? Is it causing danger? Is it going around spreading gossip? The message very simply is this, is that when we find ourselves in this negative thought loop, we need to understand that we are often ruminating about events that have occurred in the past. Now, you have just seen that your consciousness has just gone to a place where you are in the present, where you are in the now. And I have to tell you, it is true that the world of spirit, the world of reality, is an eternal present. There is no past, there is no future. You just saw for yourself, when you concentrated on the image in that card, there was no past. Those things have gone. I'll tell you something, people who have hurt you in the past, events that have happened to you in the past, they're gone. And if anybody is in your mind like that woman who 17 years later was still going on about her ex-husband, I can assure you he will well and truly have moved on in his life and not be giving her a second thought. And yet she is bringing him to life again. She is keeping those things alive in her mind. Consciousness is about understanding that it is now. Things that have gone in the past are gone for good. There is no tomorrow for any of us. Not now. Maybe when we get some more time passing, what we thought was tomorrow becomes now, but it's not guaranteed for anybody. So there's no point worrying about the future. There's no point in concerning your things about the past. And you ask yourself, but look, I'm still hurt by the past. I'm still hurt by people. It's no accident that all the great spiritual works throughout history have said you need to forgive people. And you say to yourself, well, where is this contained? Well, most people would be familiar with a Christian prayer known as the Lord's Prayer. Now, the Lord's Prayer has in it a line which says, "Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us." Well, because churches are stupid and don't do a really good job as explaining things, trespass in that situation does not apply to people going onto someone else's land. Trespass means doing wrong. So it actually should say, "And forgive us for the things that we have done wrong, as we forgive those people who have done wrong for us," to us, rather. And you say, well, how am I to forgive? The first thing is to be clear that the intention that you want to forgive and to release and to let go. Remember, people are all imperfect. Some people go out of their way to make life difficult for others, there's no doubt about that. But they're not part of you because you are enough. You have everything in you. Do not be weighed down by things that have occurred in the past, because what they do is they condition your present. They condition how you experience the world. They condition the way in which you live and in which you can take hold of and exploit opportunities that come to you in life. This is the moment of understanding that will is what is important. You need to have the will to let those things go, the will to do it, and give them away, let them go, release them. I often say to people that one of the best things to do is to write down on a piece or many pieces of paper, if you like, those people who have hurt us and what they've done, and each time we've done it, to then write down and say, "I forgive you, I release you." And I'll tell you something important. When you forgive someone, you know who is released? It's you. The person who does the forgiving is the person who is released. You become released. Write those things down on sheets of paper, and then when the moon is full, let them sit outside one night. Let the full moon, keep them in a dry area, let the full moon, which is the governor of or the governess of that spiritual area known as Yesod, which is that part of the divine will before it bursts into the material world, and which is governed by the moon, and which also governs our subconscious. It releases those things from our subconscious. And when you've left them out overnight with the full moon, the next day set fire to them, burn them, let them go back into smoke, let them turn back into air, which is the suit of swords. And I guarantee you, you will be free. You might find it difficult, of course. It's hard to forgive someone in 10 minutes. And then what you do is you say, "I'm willing to do it." Now you give it to God and you say, "Look, I'm doing my bit. I'm trying my hardest. I need help. Help me to do it." And you will receive the help. Your spiritual development will improve, and more particularly, your psychological and material well-being will include as well. It's been my pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.